The Great Blue Heron. I took a pic the other morning. I rather like it, but it needs an edit, so I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. First thing I'm going to do is crop this into a portrait style picture. Something about like that. And it was shot at ISO 3200, so we'll have to clean up some noise at the end, but it was cloudy and raining, so the lighting wasn't great. But let's go ahead and work on this image. First thing I'm going to do, since I like the overall exposure, is just come down here to the curves and add a slight contrast. Now I'm going to come up to masking, select the subject. Did pretty good, but there's a little bit of bleed over, so we're going to hit subtract, brush, my feather flow and density at 100, and my auto mask is on. So now we're just going to clean up the mask on our subject here. Now auto mask is doing a really good job of not spilling over to our bird. And there we go. So on the bird, I'm going to lift the exposure just a hair. The saturation as well. The texture some to really make the feathers pop. All in all, that looks pretty good. I'm going to turn on our highlight and shadow clipping. I was a little worried about clipping in his head here, but it doesn't look like we've lost any data. So I am pretty happy with that. Right clicking, I'm going to duplicate and invert the mask. And it looks like this new mask selected some of the birds. So once again, subtract, brush. I'm going to resize our brush, zoom in here, and clean this mask up like we did the other. Doesn't have to be perfect for what we're doing. Zoom back out. Now I want to take that new mask and warm it up just a hair. Get that orange in there. Contrast against the blue of the bird and make them pop a little bit. Now we're going to create another mask. Let's do a brush. I'm going to brush this water in. And I'm going to warm that up a little more for some of that golden hour kind of look. A linear gradient from the bottom. I'm going to darken the bottom just to bring your eyes up into the photo. Another mask, radial gradient. Feather at 100. Going right here where he's kind of stepping in. I'm going to lighten that up a little just to bring some attention to it. If you look, we got the water frozen coming off his feet. I think that's pretty neat, so I want to bring some attention in there. I'm going to zoom in here on the bird's head, add another mask, brush, feather 0, flow and density 100, auto mask is now off. And I'm just going to paint his eyeball in. Lift the exposure a little, the saturation, and the warmth. Now we have a good focal point on his eyeball there. I'm going to come on down to our HSL sliders, saturation. I'm going to lift the blue and aqua just a tad. Luminance. I'm going to lift the blue and aqua just a little bit, make our bird pop a little more. And see a piece of trash here, an old mason jar or something. I'm going to use the content aware tool and just get rid of that. Worked pretty good there on the first click. And we're going to come down and throw on just a little vignette. I feel like the top here is still kind of too bright, drawing your eye away from the subject. So we are going to do one more mask, brush, bring our feather back up, flow and density down, resize our brush with the mouse wheel. I'm just going to paint in the top in this corner. Take our exposure down a little bit. I feel like that is looking pretty good. I'm going to come over here to our inverted mask that we created earlier. That selected everything but the bird. I'm going to take our sharpness down just a hair, and our texture as well. Give it a little bit of a fake bokeh. Help the bird pop a little more. So here is with the mask on. Here is with all our mask off. You can see what a difference it made. And turn off our clipping. I think we're done with that. So mask off, mask back on. And I believe there's just one more thing I want to do. That is come down here to detail. So I'm going to start with noise reduction. Have it up at about 28%. I think that looks pretty good. Holding the Alt key, we'll turn it black and white. Take our detail up to about 60. And our contrast up to about 50. Now we're going to do our sharpening. So I'll click here on this target tool. Let's get a good spot down here with lots of feathers in it. I'm going to hold the Alt key, turn it black and white. I'm going to sharpen it up a little bit. Take our radius to about 1.3. Lifted our detail to about 50. And I'm going to bring the mask up to about 75. Zoom on out, and there we go. There is our edit. Here is the before. Here's the after. I rather quite like this look. It's a little bit of a noisy picture, but just like freezing the action on him there, walking, and really clear details in his feathers. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the edit. Thanks for watching and coming along.